What up? It's your girl L'Oreal. Attention, attention. It's your girl L'Oreal. Black, stand up. Shari, J. Mitch, Tobin, Travis, Burlock, 2-6, what up? Eastside, what up? Bringing you flow, so lyrical. Music, Milwaukee music. All day, every day. Turn it up. Bring it back.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
It's your girl
L'Oreal. Wake up music.
Black Lab exclusive. I do this. Fluid in the music. I prove it through every time you hear me on the beat. This girl get on the beat and pop it for me like I'm
B.I.M.B.
No homo, bro. Gotta get my dough. Nothing to me on my phone.
No.
We gotta show I'm the dope and smoke grind. Cause I'm out here on my grind. In VIP making money. At the
Same damn time, Kick L'Oreal.
I'm always on the track, I'm on natural. You be a
Queen with a dream.
and I'ma get the party poppin'. Cause haters can't hate it.
They too busy body dropping.
Hey, I did it again. The flow is magnetic, pulling you in. I'm on team, yes, I'm cocky, kinda chunky, not a Barbie. Just I stay up on the track like James, lay up on the back. Yeah, I made the beat go to the
Queen with a dream and to keep the body dropping. Haters can't take it, they too busy body dropping.
I did it again. The flow is magnetic,
Pulling you in.
I'm on team, yes, I'm cocky, kinda chunky, not a Barbie. Yes, I stay up on the track like James, lay up on the back.
Brother, sister, family, in the world, online. Welcome to another edition of EBX Discussion. And that was yours truly, L'Oreal Lyrical. May she rest in peace and in power. And she'll be missed but never ever forgotten, as well as others in one's family. May they rest in peace and power. Like my uncle, late great Uncle Terry, my Uncle Terry that passed. May he rest in heaven. His spirit will live on through us, me and one's family. Yep, but L'Oreal Lyrical, as you see, was full of energy, and as I always say, she was phenomenal. And we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna speak on having a divine fire within, and salute to the current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view, brother, sister, family. And like I always say, may that great divine just be in our life, keep us strong, and keep us prospering and vigilant and paying attention. And we're going to touch on Iron Heart Sisters. And of course, what we see on the banner here. And as we know, it's a lot going on. And look for the hip hop break, of course, always have. And a summary, I want to kind of break down having a divine fire. And yeah, so always get into a place of meditation, as I heard from a great brother. When we finally went through the levels and cling to that divine spirit, we begin to see the whole terrain. Now, this don't happen overnight. This come with staying on point, maybe going through fumbles, some mistakes and stuff like that. But if one can be aware of themselves inside and out, I'm telling you, it just open up. That spiritual world just opens up, and many other things, we conquer that inner, and then the outer will be a breeze, like Mama Nature. And just pat yourself on the back if you're doing what you have to do, without hurting ourselves or hurting no one else. Something you hear me say a lot. And what we see on the banner here is going to be inspiration for Iron Heart Sisters who just indulge in integrity and don't care about social media, being seen, and just taking care of their challenges without whining on social media and all that, just doing what they have to do, because it's not good to display everything on social media. And know the gifts that we get from our families, and like I say, a lot of things that I developed, some things I developed on my own, but some of them stem from the DNA of one's family. So be thankful if we got righteous aunties, uncles, but this is for my sisters, so brothers too, but this is a tribute to Iron Heart Sisters, because I got some righteous sisters in my family, whether it's cousins, my mom, my grandma. My grandma was a very spiritual person. She was always out in the garden, always connecting with nature. She always created a peaceful environment. She didn't take no crap either. She'd spank you on that backside, but she was also pleasant and loving. And I think she passed that down to me and many others in one's family. My mom, she could draw. She used to be, speaking of terrain, she used to be able to sit in a room and she could literally sketch whatever's in that room, detail by detail. And she was real good at drawing. So that was passed down to me, as well as the spiritual side from my dad. My mom was spiritual too. And I kind of got that from both of them, because my dad was actually, may he rest in peace and in power. He was actually, I don't know if he was a deacon for a church or something like that. So, he was finding his way, of course. Many of us come up through the church, so. But salute to the real ones that finally see that real truth without looking for it on the outside, as we all say. So, and the gift of steadfastness, and when we can stay steadfast through any chaos or storm, I've kind of get that from my family, because I got some warriors. And be thankful if we got warriors in our family, because I know everyone has different situations and challenges in their family. But be thankful if we do come from a family who had a strong foundation for, before everybody grew up in the world. Sometimes, again, people move away and get jobs, and of course we lose loved ones and things of that nature. But if we come from a strong foundational family, be thankful, because again, may great divine just being those who may not have such a great upbringing or had a lot of challenges in their family, and but we can be the best who we are. Our past, don't ever let our past make us or stop us from being that general that great divine has called so many of us to be, especially our sisters. Now we're going to speak on the sister on the banner here and thumbnail. And the reason I chose this, because again, I don't do TikTok, Facebook, X, Instagram, and I'm going to speak on why I don't. And I'm always looking for something positive. So when you keep yourself in a positive state, you'll see certain things like, scroll right past it. So it's beautiful to get to that and not triggered by any and everything. So to be a hero of our own life, we better learn those triggers, folks, because the devil and this media and whatever is out here that's negative would love to have all our thoughts and desires and have our brain all over the place. No, we got to have clarity and have that divine fire deep within. Salute to my sisters who had that, younger or older, because it's beautiful and it's important. And I want to get into, and a salute to the gifts I got from my family, whether it's aunties, and something I want to bring up, something that I always thought was unique about my mom. And my mom used to speak at a lot of events. I remember when she went back to school, she studied, our African heritage, and she spoke at a couple events. And my Aunt Vera, rest in peace and in power, she used to make outfits, and she used to make all my mom's outfits, the dashikis and all that. She made all my mom's clothes, if I'm not mistaken. So salute to that. Rest in peace and in power, my Aunt Vera, she was phenomenal, like L'Oreal Lyrical you heard in the beginning. And we used to call L'Oreal Lyrical. She looked just like my Aunt Vera. And I also got a cousin named Lil Vera, and she actually kind of looks like Aunt Vera. Yeah, and and my Aunt Vera also accumulated a little wealth, and she owned property, which the very building she owned, I'm literally living in. So ponder that. That's dope. See, when we can create generational wealth for the next generation to come, and that's what my auntie did, and I so thank her for that, and I'm grateful for that, as well as what my granddad and my grandma passed on to our family. So, because my granddad was in a singing group, so that's where I think some of my singing abilities may stem from, and that runs in my family. We all got a music ear. We love music, whether we could sing or rap or not. We just have an ear for music. That runs in my family, whether it's my brother, my sister, because I got a brother. I got two brothers and a sister. One brother on my mom's side, another brother on my dad's side. And salute to all three of them. May great divine be in their life. Keep them strong. Keep them prospering. And but we all have our own little gifts. And We all are go-getters, as I like to say. I thank that great divine for blessing one's family to be strong. Again, be thankful if we come from a strong foundational family, because I know it can be challenging in different families. So please, great divine, just be in all our lives, global perspective and protection, wherever part of the world we're in. May that great divine just be there and let us see the truth. Disagree to agree, and pay attention to the real enemy, whether it's within ourselves or enemy in this world. Because as I always say, folks, never underestimate the power of social media and or media. So again, salute to my family for the gifts they passed down to me. I'm so thankful. And I'm thankful for the gifts Great Divine and Mama Nature kind of placed in my spirit that I developed on one's own. Because I remember my mom was studying her African culture, and she used to go to the events and stuff like that. And man, it's just wonderful. And I really didn't understand then, but I do now. And it's amazing the timing Great Divine has. Like, we'll experience something in life we might not I'm talking about like something good, or maybe something, I wouldn't say confusing, but just something we don't like understand at the moment, but we do later. It's like we kind of do, but we kind of don't. But we know it by the feeling of it, especially if it's righteous. And then Great Divine presents it in a certain time in our life. We're like, wow, that's why that happened. Because sometimes Great Divine, we know how, whatever is out there, we know how it moves. It moves in signs, dreams, synchronicities. That's how Great Divine Spirit moves. And Mama Nature. Yep. So when we get into that spiritual world, like I say, Great Divine Spirit and Mama Nature and things of that nature will always be beyond our understanding, understanding, and overstanding. So just have a flow state and just get into a rhythm and just live. Just live life. That's it. Great Divine will do the rest, and the rest is history. Real talk. So learn as much as we can, and when we really feel it in the pit of our soul, we share it, to the world, however that way that is, whether we got a platform or not. And salute to the righteous teachers who are getting it in the communities and really got their foot down out there in the hoods and stuff. And because I rode past somebody yesterday, it was a group standing outside. I was on my way to work, actually, and it was a group of brothers standing outside speaking, and I love seeing stuff like that. And it's a lot of things like that here in Milltown. As L'Oreal Lyrical and myself, when I first moved up here around 2014 or 15, somewhere around there, we were doing things in the community. We had a group and everything, because we made a song called Stop the Violence, and we was getting involved. There were challenges and things happened, but we did put in the effort, and we had this organization, and we had this group, and we used to go around the neighborhoods picking up trash. And people would ride by, y'all some dummies, and bam, bam, bam. What y'all doing? That's just the way it is. But that's what we did, But that's what Great Divine ordained us to do. And we did perform at a couple places. I think we performed Stop the Violence at a church, and we performed at a MATC community college here in Milltown. So it might not have been a global thing, but it was definitely a city thing. So. And I'm glad that my cousin and I was able to experience that before she passed on. So again, rest in peace and in power, L'Oreal Lyrical. And that's what we're going to outro out with. And that song is called Let the Beat Go. And Queen with a Dream. She keep the party. I think she said she keep the party popping or keep the party dropping or something like that. Haters can't take it. They too busy body dropping. So yeah, me and Lord Lamont, we love that part in that song. So again, salute to L'Oreal Lyrical, rest in peace and in power, who was absolutely phenomenal. She was multi-talented, man. That sister knew how to. And she was my cousin, of course, and knew how to do everything. As I reiterate, she could do hair, cut hair. She was a poet. She could rhyme. She could write. She did take herself back to school to kind of sharpen up on some skills. She was educated in computer programming, and this is like before social media really was taking off. She was already learning these things. So, if God would have, blessed her to still be here, I'm telling you, she would have had a huge platform. But the way her mindset was, she wouldn't have cared about validation, because a lot of people knew her. She she was born and raised in the Milltown, so she knew Milltown inside and out, and everybody knew L'Oreal Lyrical. So again, she'll be missed but never forgotten, as well as others in one family. May they rest in peace. May they rest in peace and in power. Is the late great Uncle Terry, my uncle, who passed away maybe 3 weeks ago, and it's still in my spirit. That it will never leave. You know, I will never just let him. I will let his body let it rest, but I will never let his spirit let it rest, as well as others in one's family, like my Aunt Vera. You know, I'm so grateful for what she did for the family, because it's so much of a blessing to be living in the fruits that she bared, because she really did care about our family, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah, so, and we grab that torch and we pass it on to the next generation, because I'm gonna take this torch and I'm gonna pass it on to Lord Lamont, you know, because he on his way. He's found his way. Now he just gotta get to a place where he can stay stable. You know, he's working on his triggers, and he's really a smart cat. Lord Lamont is very smart, and I commend his mom for that. You know, his mom taught him how to read before he was in school. I thought that was awesome, because as I said, it was a long time before me and Lord Lamont didn't see each other. You know, it was some years before we didn't see each other. So his mom was taking care of him. You know, and me and Lord Lamont, we've spoke on this. I've spoke on it. You know. It was just at a point of my life when one wasn't aware. It was back in my younger days when one just wasn't aware, you know. So, but I always say, Great Divine gives us that moment when we're young, when we're kind of fumbling and messing up. But then, if we're a healthy, able-bodied human being, there's going to come a time where Great Divine and Mama Nature is going to hold us accountable, and we have to mature at some point in our life, unless we just want to be stupid and unaware and just willy-nilly free falling through life with no purpose. Danger. So can't live like that. So again, salute to all those who are doing what they got to do without hurting no one, you know, in this life, and tapping into that spiritual world, you know, and step into it, you know, just be amazed. Go beyond this human flesh, I like to call the firewall, and we become the fire and burn that devil up on the spot every time and try to tantalize our spirit. Now, of course, I'm gonna speak on the sister on the banner. She's a comic book character, and of course, it's a lot of black comics, and a lot of them were before these Caucasian superheroes. A lot of them was before them. Like, if I'm not mistaken, this sister on the banner here was before Catwoman, and as you can see the cats in the background, because she had cat-like reflexes. And this is just the inspiration of Ironheart sisters, kind of an inspiration and celebration to the real Ironheart sisters out there. Again, I'm talking about just a normal, regular sister that just living her life, that don't give a fuck about validation on the social media shit. And also, this is not just about the beauty of the physical. I'm talking about beauty within, as I always bring up when I speak on sisters. We talking about a sister with a iron heart that knows herself, whether she around somebody or not, whether she on social media or not, that know herself wherever she is, you know, because I love to say, where the mind goes, the body goes, and that's facts. Because the most beautiful sister is not one with physical beauty. It's the one that knows herself deep, that have that divine fire deep within, and is a warrior, you know. That's what I like. And so I'm going to get into, again, salute to the sisters in my family that are righteous and doing what they got to do, even through the midst of the challenges. I'm thankful for that. Whether it's my sister, my aunties, my grandma, my mom, you know, cousins, you know, I'm thankful. Even friends of the families that were sisters. Because again, we had a sister of the family that passed away too. Rest in peace and in power to her, because she was very vital to the family. And and she'll be forever missed. Who actually was a friend of my cousin Brian, which we stay in the same building, which Aunt Vera is his mom, you know. Again, the building I'm staying in was the building she owned, so that's beautiful. And she had an iron heart. She really did. Like L'Oreal Lyrical, you know, her niece. Let me see. In L'Oreal Lyrical, matter of fact, her mom name is Kim, which is she's very spiritual. We've had some great conversations. Salute to her. And I think she was kind of going through some challenges. May Great Divine be in her life. That's L'Oreal Lyrical's mom. name's Kim, and I think she's gonna be living with my mom, if I'm not mistaken. And where my uncle Terry, he was living with my mom before he passed, and he had some furniture and stuff in the room he used to stay in. And my mom wanted me to help get the furniture, but I told her I couldn't, I can't move like that no more. So, but I said I was willing to pay someone to move his stuff. And to be honest, it would be kind of hard for me to go in the room where he is. Because I thought about that, and I don't know if I discussed this with Lord Lamont, but I think it would be hard for me to go in where he was, because I feel when it comes to death or things of that nature, I really feel it really deep. And not like, now I might not like show my emotions in front of people, but I do tend to feel deep, because when we don't like suffering of people or ourselves or just in general, we become an empath. Let's say a righteous empath. And empaths feel really deep. Even we talking about a righteous empath now, one who truly cares, but not naive. But we feel, and so it would hurt me to go in his room and see the old memories and stuff. I said I don't know if I'm ready for that, because I still got an audio of him on a podcast I did. I was speaking on Michael Jackson, and I know where it is, and I still can't bring myself to listen to it. Like, it hurts me too much. So the grieving process, it depends on the person. There's no time limit on grieving. It's like we just get better at accepting, what happened to our loved ones. That's it. But the grieving process can go on forever sometimes, So that will forever be with me. So again, I think it would hurt me too much to go in the room. I should have told my mom that. I think that's the real reason why. I mean, also because I can't move like that, like I used to. But I think the root of it is because I can't deal with the memories and going in his room where he was. I think it would hurt me too much. And I'm sure my mom probably feel the same way. She probably haven't even been in his room. I can probably imagine, because losing a loved one ain't no joke. Especially someone you were, well, anybody, but I'm just saying someone you was really close to. It's hard, So yeah, Uncle, his spirit, I'm telling you, I will carry his spirit wherever, as well as others in my family to transition. Because sometimes I'm not one that may not show emotions, but I feel deep. Just like a lot of people do. It's just some people show their emotions in different ways. Like my brother, Marlon, on my mom's side, he cried. Me and him talked on the phone. He cried his eyes off. He's very empathic, but he shows his emotion, But I cried too, but I cried at home. I just didn't cry in front of everybody. I actually cried on the podcast I did when I spoke on him, but I didn't even mean to. It just came out. I'm telling you, the subconscious is a mother of them. We never know that's why meditation is so good. As I heard from a great brother, when we finally connect to that divine spirit deep within our core, we begin to see the whole terrain. And that's the most beautiful. I want to get that on a t-shirt. We begin to see the whole terrain. Me and Lord Lamont discussed this. If I didn't mention this already in the beginning, if I did, I want to mention it again. When we finally, and many of us who experience this know what I'm talking about. We begin to see the whole terrain. We start seeing. It's like, let's use that movie Iron Man, for example. Remember when he touched the screen and he brought it up to like where it was vertical to level with his eyes, and he was moving things around like that. When we can connect like that, it's beautiful. And we literally can like do like a kind of like a bionic ability. We can literally see things, and we can get to that space. We just have to pay attention. So that's beautiful. I just heard a brother on a podcast say that. He said, the way we can know we are finally connected to that iron heart, that I'm gonna speak on for my sisters, because this is for all family, brothers and sisters. But I got a sister on the banner, and I'm gonna say what her name is. Sahara Serengeti, if I'm saying it right. I thought it was Sarah because it's SAHARA, SERENA. Let me see, Serengeti, SAERENG, Genneti, GNETTI. I think it's Serengeti, but we're gonna get into it. I might have pronounced it wrong, but and also got a summary of having a divine fire. I'm gonna read that too, and of course, a hip hop break. But like that brother said, how we know we're really connected, solid to that divine spirit deep within, we begin to see the whole terrain. we'll begin, and I'm sure many of us experience this. And it's not about being this powerful, cosmic, spiritual person. It's like the song, we can see clearly now, the crap is gone. It's like that. And we, again, like that brother said, we begin to see the whole terrain, mind, body, and soul, see, hear, and feel, and see deep into the core of our psyche. And that will help us to see into the core of the world through person, place, thing. And it's beautiful, beautiful to get to that space. But it takes going through levels, studying, and not being triggered by everything. I think that's the most important thing to know to protect our heroic abilities, is to know our triggers and what we think about and what's in our subconscious. That's the most empowering thing one can do, is to know what's in our core and know who we really are. You know, that's when the journey really truly begins, whatever kind of walk we're on. So again, I got this sister on the banner, and she's again a character from a comic book, and I like stuff like this because, again, I used to draw. My mom, I got that gift from my mom. Again, she used to be able to draw. Speaking of terrain, like I said, she could draw the living room. We could be sitting in the living room. She could draw everything in that room, including the people in it, detail by detail. You know, TV, lamp, table. She used to be able to do all that. And I'm gonna have to have a discussion with my mom, see if she can still draw. Cause I used to love to draw. Yeah, but I'm gonna read this summary, and we're going to get to a hip-hop break and about having a divine fire. And this is an inspiration for our sisters, and not just those with a platform or celebrities or those who know. I'm talking about just a upright sister that has that power of integrity and knows her true worth. That's the most beautiful thing in the world and the most attractive. Real talk. And I want to stop a minute on social media. Why I haven't been on any of these outlets in years. And so, and again, I go on Facebook sometimes just to see, and I don't even post anything. I haven't posted in months and years. But I'll go on there just to see how family doing and friends I grew up with, something like that, and just positive things. And I skate past the girls who just showing, or not girls, but women or females in general, just showing their body on social media. And so I got on Instagram yesterday, like just to be getting on. I was like, cause I don't ever go on Instagram. There's some creepy people on Instagram. I'm sorry. I don't know if others experience that. It's creepy. But I went on there. I said, let me see what's going on Instagram. And I'd seen a couple of family members, a couple of friends. I was like, oh, cool. Man, then I got to scrolling. I got to one photo. And sisters can be beautiful, very attractive. Then it showed one girl. All she was showing was pictures of her, her breast. And I was like, okay, you have big breasts, whatever. Kept scrolling. Another picture. I was like, okay, all right. Another one. I was like, God dang. I was like, every other post was a girl, showing her body and shaking her butt. I was like, what the heck? I got right off. And sometimes I do investigate, because, I don't like going on people's pages and being nosy, Sometimes I investigate. And to me, if someone is posting a picture of themselves and they never post family or nothing like that, or even speak on family for that matter, and every other picture is just them showing them, their physical body, and something wrong there to me. I don't know, because I don't get caught into that, so that's why I don't do social media anymore, and just especially Instagram creepy. And I remember when X was Twitter was creepy, but I finally filtered that shit out, and I was getting some creepy ass people following me on when it was Twitter. And I used to post things, and I was bold with it. I used to like, stop effing following me. I used to post stuff like that because I would have all these little porn girls, little porn shit trying to follow me. I used to have them here on YouTube, but I blocked it. And so, because I don't play that shit. Ain't none of that sneaky shit here. So evil entities and devils, whoever the fuck they are, they can get the fuck on. Ain't nothing happening here. Because Great Divine has highlighted one's triggers in me. I know what it is, And I've always said that I used to have a challenge with lusting. So I've conquered that shit. And again, as I said, and again, many things can tie into lust. Attention, addiction, wanting validation, and of course, lust, money. But like I said, I used to have a challenge with that. And like, again, nothing to the extreme, but I didn't see into the core of a sister. You know, I was just attracted to the physical. So, and that's danger, danger, danger. So, because you don't get to know a person, then you find yourself in a position, you know, like, how the hell I get here? So, I learned not to do that, because it's okay being attracted to a sister that has beauty in her physical, but she can be rotten to the core, and that just make it all non and void. Because again, how many of us brothers have met a sister that had the most beautiful spirit in the world? And that's what makes it beautiful, and that's what make a relationship last long to me, you know, even through the challenges. But when two finally do connect and know oneself and able to reason and discuss things without arguing, the journey truly has begun. And again, salute to relationships, those who do have sisters with an iron heart. Because again, this is a celebration to iron heart sisters that tap into that divine fire within. Because man, it's beautiful. And salute to Pretty Brown, you know, who again, we've been together coming up on, I always say, I think 12, 13 years, something like that. And again, it hasn't been easy for us, but we finally have gotten to that flow state of life. And I understand her and she understands me as much as we can, you know, because again, I don't like to get to a space where, you know, I always leave room for learning. You know, I don't never want to, I always say, get to a space where I think I know everything. Got to leave room for learning. And that's what, folks, being a student, leader and teacher, and a student, because don't never let ourselves, it's okay to be a teacher, maybe even a leader, but don't forget to stay a student. Because I'm telling you, then we can breeze through this life, you know, like a lot of our sisters out here, whether you got a platform or not. And this is just our overall sisters, you know, whether you known or not. And I'm talking about just regular sisters that just doing their thing and ain't looking for no recognition. Them the sisters that I love. And that's how Pretty Brown is. You know, she had her little issues with herself sometimes, and as we all do, our human will fight. I mean, our human flesh will try to fight if we don't control it. But she's come a long way, as both of us have, you know, with our children, and it's just been wonderful, you know. And she's tapping into her more in-depth side of herself, and yep. But it takes time, and it takes showing by example sometimes, you know. So I'm proud of her. She's come a long way and come through a lot of challenges, and I always call her a superhero because she's raised some magnificent children. She's really played a very important part in these children's lives because they're flourishing with the challenges, you know. But for the most part, her children are doing well as Ethan, the son we made together, because Ethan is multi-talented. Ethan can play the keyboard. Ethan is very good at math. He can write. He can read. He plays the French horn. He goes to band. Man, Ethan is he's wonderful. He's God sent. He's a blessing. As all his siblings, you know, Andrea, Naya, Aaron, aka Lord Lamont, and Elijah. They all are a blessing. Now those are my kids that I on Ethan's side, because he got siblings by his mom, Pretty Brown, and then I got kids of my own that's not by Pretty Brown, you know, his other siblings, and they all live in different parts of the globe, you know, states, cities, and stuff. So, but Lord Lamont's here in the Milltown as well as Ethan, and Lord, we all know Lord Lamont is multi-talented also, and so it's wonderful, you know. So let's get into the Iron Heart feminine sisters, you know, and just, you know, I would say, you know, females overall who just have that power and know their true selves, you know. But this is a tribute to my sisters, you know, and be thankful for females who do know themselves and not caught up into the ways and sways and stereotypes of the world and all that bullshit, you know, and especially my Iron Heart sisters that know and is tapped in to that divine fire deep within. All right, now let's get to this hip-hop break. I never did get to the summary because I had to touch on that social media shit. I like, wow, it's, man, be thankful if you can tear yourself away from the media and or social media, because that's power, real talk. All right, let's get to this hip-hop break, and I'm gonna come back with this summary of having a divine fire within. And I also want to speak on Sahara Serengeti And if I'm not mistaken, that's her name. The sister on the banner here, because I got some summaries about her and the character she plays in this comic book. Because, you know, I get to going, you know, when you get into a flow state and you're serious with it and you true from your pit of your soul, you flow, you know. You don't even pay attention to time. Because divine time is the best time, brothers and sisters. All right, I got to find this. Let me see. All right. Yep, the first hip hop song is Loved Ones. And I made this song a few weeks ago. Let me see. About 3 weeks ago, actually. And it's called Loved Ones. And the hook goes, I do it for my loved ones, whether it's physically or spiritually, you know. I take my rounds serious, you know. That's, again, like that example I gave what the brother said, seeing the whole terrain. That's like seeing the realm and knowing what's in that realm and knowing who our allies are in that realm and who our enemies are. If we can get to that space, we can literally be our own superhero. If we talking about a firm, upright superhero, not a naive one, a superhero with great balance. It's beautiful. Yep. Be in a flow state and have no doubt. And remember, the worst enemies, like me and Lord Lamont spoke on what Bruce Lee said, rest in peace and power. The 3 worst enemies that we'll come across in this life, as well as ourselves, that we must conquer: fear, anger, and hate. All right, so be back after this. Loved Ones.
For my loved ones, wake up music, yeah, for my loved ones, I do it how I make it do it. For my loved ones, man, I do it, make it through it. For my loved ones, my loved ones, my loved ones, man, I go to bat, yeah, for my loved ones, rawr. I gotta be a beast, and making sure, yeah, that we see Imperial, yeah, like L'Oreal, lyrical, rest in heaven, yeah, and here we go. She was a phenomenal, the spirit living in my bones, yeah, in my Uncle Terry, on my family, keeping them strong, yeah, in the spirit, yeah, live long, yeah, keep that great divine in that family zone, rawr. And ain't no devil ever, man, gonna get to the E. No. I gotta see what I need to see up in the streets, and putting that protection over my family, my children, and yeah, so we can all be free. Woo! Yeah, man, I do it for my loved ones. Yeah, man, for my loved ones. My loved ones, my loved ones, man, I go to bat, yeah, for my loved ones. Man, I don't claim to be no perfect man, but here I am, I hear, and I stand. And just to listen to these words that a brother's saying, and it's that devil that I always say we slam, rawr. I never let the devil take over us, and yeah, being shame or being no disgust. No, I carry that honor of thy family, making me strong, making sure I stay real E, rawr. Yeah, man, I do it for my loved ones. Yeah, man, I do it for my loved ones. My loved ones, my loved ones. Man, I go to bat, yeah, for my loved ones. Make it through it, and I gotta do it for my loved ones. I make it through it, ain't no losing for my loved ones. My loved ones, my loved ones, my loved ones. Do it. Rest in peace and power to all of my family. That great divine is all over thee. I place protection, I put it all in our soul, so we can stay here and on our toes. Yeah, I gotta do it for our loved ones. Yeah, for our loved ones, our loved ones, our loved ones, our loved ones.
Real talk, and I mean that. I mean every bit of that song, straight up. Like, you know, nobody's perfect, but do the best we can and become greater, you know. And the next song is Divine Love, because nothing is more precious and beautiful than divine love, especially when we find it in an iron heart sister, you know. And this is a global perspective, remember. A sister with a true heart, you know. Yep, that just radiates on the outside. All right, back after this. Divine love. It's wonderful when we can have it, know it, and have good balance with it. And we ain't talking about naivety either. You know, a strong, firm sister that knows herself to the pit of her soul. It's beautiful. Back after this. Divine love.
Yeah. Wake up music. Salute to Lord Lamont, my children and family. Brothers and sisters are all across the globe. We never lose and watch us glow. Yeah, a fierce, a divine love. Two wrongs don't make no right. And must lead those to the light. Yeah, and never go out this life without a fight. No, a fierce, a divine love. Rawr. Yeah. And I keep on doing what I gotta do. And in this life, I gotta stay true. I love my family, my brother, and my sister too. Yeah, ain't got no time, man, to lose. I keep that fire that's burning, yeah, deep in my soul. And yeah, how I stay here and on our toes. I keep blazing of this here flame. And in this life, be smart, never be no lame. No, yeah, a fierce, a divine love. A two wrongs don't make no right. And never go out this life without a fight. No, brothers and sisters, divine love. A two wrongs don't make no right. I must lead those to the light. Yeah, fierce, a divine love. Let's go. And I keep on moving through, and I never ever lose. I'm being smart in this life, I never be no fool. Yeah, fuck lies, I stick to the truth. I'm not no perfect man, and yeah, I make it through. Never will I stop, and I rock, keep on going on. Inspiring to everybody, man, to stay strong. Yeah, keep on looking up, and never looking down. Being thankful for our families, and we here and around. Yeah. I gotta keep it divine love. A two wrongs don't make no right. I must lead those to the light. Brothers and sisters.
Yeah, that's right. Two wrongs don't make no right. I forgot I had that in that hook. It's real talk. Two wrongs don't make no right. You know, as me and Lord Lamont discussed, we observe, but we don't absorb. You know, because we gotta stay on this path, and we don't know what great divine gonna place on our path. On our path or this path or in life in general, you know. And I know we have these different ways of saying God and great divine and creator and all that stuff. So we put it like this. This is how we can, those of us who know who we are, we don't, fight with stuff like that. We just flow with that spirit. We talking about a righteous spirit now that we feel within. Now, this is how we know if it's God or some kind of divine force out there. This is how we'll know. Go out. Let me see. Hold on, brothers and sisters, because I want to make this point. Let me see. Hold on, brothers and sisters. Okay. Now, this is how we know if there is a great divine force out there or not. Be destructive. Be irresponsible and just free flow through life with no purpose and just think you can do any and everything. Let me know how that work out. Because many of us have experienced that made wrong choices. What happened? Now we can say that's divine. We can say that's the creator, God, karma. It's just a principle of life overall. It's something out there that, when many of us have experienced making right choices, how things can be smooth and there's less challenges. Okay. So that's how we know. It's according to how we think and how we live will determine, again, what great divine will place on our path. It's always going to be up to the individual, because none of us are more powerful than the sun. Because I think of the great divine as like the sun, like Lord Lamont say. Some people get too close to the sun and get burned up. Just be thankful for the blessings and the gifts and skills, abilities that we do have. Don't take them for granted. There's a little speck we call Earth, because it's bigger than social media and celeb. There's way bigger things going on. There's things, people, wicked entities is trying to play God and don't like righteous and fruitful things, and people just want to live their life. Yeah, but let's get into it. Let's speak on Sarah Serengeti, if that's her name, and this summary on having divine fire within. All right, let's go. Having and this is again a salute and a celebration and a tribute to sisters and an acknowledgement to sisters, iron heart sisters, and that don't care about social media and this celeb shit and being seen and doing things to their body. Just a natural sister that knows her beauty within. All right, because it don't matter again about the physical. It's because If you let's again, if you're chaotic within, it will eventually make its way to the physical. Insecurity is a mother hubber. All right. Okay, let's get to this summary. Then we're going to speak on the sister on the banner. She's just the inspiration. I thought she looked cool. And she was in a fighting stance. And salute to the sisters who know martial arts. I did run across that on, I think it was Instagram. I did see that on Instagram, I think. Not girl. I keep saying girl. But this sister, she was doing martial arts. And I thought it was awesome. And she was doing jumping high kicks. She was awesome. And she was beautiful, and she was voluptuous. She was a little curvy. But when I seen her doing the martial arts, I forgot all about what she looked like. That was awesome. She was jumping in the air and kicking mats. And man, that's dope. So that's what inspired me to have Sahara on the banner here, because she's doing martial arts. She's in a martial arts stance. So that's another great thing I think sisters should do. Do more than just, when you see these workout videos, don't just do it to show your body. Get into martial arts, something more serious. Because martial arts, as Bruce Lee taught, and many others, not just Bruce Lee, I'm just using him as an example, but our great martial artists out there, all of them, the real ones. Martial arts is more than just the physical. It taps into discipline. It taps into your spiritual. It teaches you to balance fear, anger, and hate, So that's another thing about knowing martial arts. I think I want to learn it. And I think me and Ethan and maybe his brother Dion, I think I want to get us into martial arts. Not just for the physical, but just to learn the discipline, because it's good for the spiritual side too, and the discipline side, and it teaches you not to jump off triggers, because martial arts, you're a lethal weapon, so you have to learn balance. So I think that's a good reason to learn martial arts. So salute to my sisters who know martial arts, younger and older. And I remember even boxing. We talking about a righteous sister now, not this. I see the sisters who box and all that, but I don't know about this boxing. It's turned into, it's not even real. I don't know much about boxing, so I ain't gonna get too deep into it. But I've heard others who watch boxing, what boxing has become. So, but salute to my authentic sisters who do take up martial arts or boxing, because I think that's good for the mind, body, and soul. But I remember a long time ago when it was Twitter, this brother had his daughter practicing boxing, and she was dope. And I got a video of it, actually. Yeah, I think I recorded it. I think I got it on Facebook somewhere, but it was years ago. And you know how you see the coach have two hands up, and they have the little mats or the little rubber gloves in their hands. Well, not rubber, whatever they're made of. And they have the little, the sparring gloves. They have them on their hands. And, they have the boxer hitting each glove. I taught my son Ethan that, actually. I have him do the 1-2 on each hand. I taught my son Ethan that, actually. And he had his daughter doing it, and she was cold. This brother I had seen on Twitter years ago. And she was punching she was shadow boxing his hands. And she was cold. See, that's good, And I think that's good, too, for dads to teach their young daughters self-defense, because again, it's especially martial arts, because again, it's good for the discipline, it's good for the mind, body, and soul, and it teaches balance. So that's beautiful. I did see that was something positive I did see on Instagram amongst all the the other stuff. But let's get into this summary. All right, and this is again for my sisters, females that just know themselves and not giving that fucking devil and ways and sways of the world no room. All right, because that's when you truly do tap in to the divine fire. Let's go. Having a divine fire within is a universal spiritual metaphor for an inner spark, sacred passion. Or this is for brothers too, though, because brothers got this too. But I'm just, again, this is an inspiration for my sisters. Feminine power, all right, sacred passion, and other races or nationalities can learn from a powerful sister, because they have melanin, so you can learn from sisters. Don't be taken back or envious. Learn from our sisters with integrity. Can learn a lot, because as the facts goes, the most sisters, it's more sisters that are more intelligent than the statistics show, and that's facts. It's more intelligent sisters than Caucasian. They are high. They are the most highly intelligent, educated. That's facts. That's in the statistics. So don't be taken back. Other nationalities learn from our educated sisters. We've been educated since the beginning of the time. Again, we are some of the first inventors. So there you go. And that's facts. It's not theory. It's not opinion. So let's go. We just got to know the truth and grade ourselves and learn from it. We can gain more power adding than taking. I don't know why people don't grab that. You lose more by taking in the long run. Then you end up losing what you tried to gain, which is stupid. So being positive and adding to humanity or culture, we'll get more than we ever thought we would. Some people just don't understand that. They always try to take shortcuts and shit. You're not going to get nowhere like that, and that's real. All right, having a divine fire within is a universal spiritual metaphor for an inner spark, sacred passion, or the living presence of that great, great divine and Mama Nature burning inside the human soul. It drives purpose, offers radical resilience, and inspires deep compassion, but not naive, acting as an unyielding source of spiritual warmth and transformation. But not naive. All right, now we're going to get into the sister on the banner. Remember, she's a character in the comic book. Let's go. Now, Sahara, S-A-H-A-R-A. I was going to say Sarah, but I think it's pronounced Sahara. When her real name is Sahara Serengeti, like I said. Serenghetti. If I'm not pronouncing that right, forgive me, but it's her real name, Sarah Getty. Remember, this is a character, black superhero in the comic book, and this was before Catwoman. I think I said Spider. Yeah, that's a Catwoman in the beginning. I think I did. Okay, is a prominent human character in the Image Comics series Elephant Man. Now, some people may know about this. I've never heard of it, so it's new to me. Created by Joe Cassie. I don't know who that is, and Richard Starkings, where she acts as a fierce advocate and goodwill ambassador for transhuman and transgenic species. Now, I did look that up because we know the term transgender, so I had to make sure I knew what I was reading, what that meant. Because, it's okay if we don't know something. We look it up and see what it is. We don't have to know everything. All right. Now, I want to look up what transhumanism is, because I wanted to know this for myself, to know what I was reading. All right. Transhumanism is an intellectual and cultural movement that advocates using existing, emerging, and speculative technologies to enhance the human condition, particularly by extending longevity and improving cognition, health and well-being beyond current biological limitations. So I guess that'd be, I don't think it's, I'm gonna put it like this just to make it simple. I guess half human, half robot. I'm guessing that's what that means. But we got to stick to the human spirit, and this is just an inspiration of sisters can be just as powerful as this sister on the banner, but without all that other stuff. Let's stay tapped in to our human spirit. But again, and Pretty Brown, Ethan's mom, my son's mom, my 11-year-old, I've seen her in action. When I first met her, her dining room was literally like a classroom. She had like stuff on the wall. She had like ABC stuff on the wall, and she had like little math problems. She literally like made her dining room like a classroom. So she was like teaching. She was literally involved with her kids, and when they was in school, she would always be up at the schools. She was always in the with the parent and teacher conferences. She was always involved in their behavior and stuff like that. So that's a true superhero. And it's a lot of sisters like this that we don't hear about, that just living normal lives, that have been through the effing storm, been through it. And she's been through it. She really has ups and downs, and different things she's been through in her life, and people betraying her and taking advantage of her, opening herself up, stuff like that. Because I told her that as we take time to learn a person, if we're able to now, because some people we can't help, but we'll know. Great divine, again, we just never know what great divine to place on our path. If we're in that spiritual, if we got our spiritual eyes open, again, like that example I gave, what that brother said, when we can see the whole terrain, we'll know if we were supposed to stay in a certain season or leave that season. We'll just feel it in our spirit. I'm not talking about nothing malice. It's just some seasons we're in for a while and some forever. We just never know. But as long as it's for the benefit of a better life. So, we've come a long way, and we have made a lot of progress within ourselves. I had to work on myself too, as well as she did. And we come together and work things out. And here we are. We still standing. Salute to those who are still standing, whether it's brother or sister. But this is for my sister. So, and I was always impressed by that. And she helped me progress in life. She really did. Like I've said, she gave me that card to that class I took at that church I was speaking on. I had went to, which was a pretty good church that really helped people. And it was called Word of Hope Ministries here in the Milltown. And they helped me get the chef job I got right now. So she was a catalyst in that. She gave me a card, and and I literally got the job the same day I think Ethan was born, right around when he was born. I said that was divine, and it's like everything just clicked in. And we've been together ever since, and that was 2015 or somewhere around in that area. We're still together now, so ponder that. And we're still standing, and there'll always be challenges, but there are less of them when one becomes aware of each other, and we are somewhat on the same accord. So that's the beauty of Iron Heart sisters that are truly tapped in to their divine fire within. So again, this sister on the banner, just inspiration. And I love sisters who wear afros. I love it. And then wear their natural hair, And but I was always impressed by that, how she had her dining room set up like a classroom. And when the kids were little, it was just so beautiful when they all used to sit around the table. And I watched them grow up. It's amazing, man. They watch them grow up, and it's like, wow, it's amazing. The power of an iron heart sister. And she truly do got an iron heart, because she's dealt with a lot, been through a lot, still standing. And just, man, I've never seen someone like embrace pain the way she do, because she's been through some pain in her life. So she's very strong. So I'm thankful to be in her life, to, cause it's thankful when we have helped someone to progress, and they help us. They say iron sharpens iron. It's beautiful. And this goes for brothers too. When iron can sharpen iron, when we can disagree to agree. And as I always say, folks, see the real enemy, whether it's in ourselves or in the world. It's beautiful. All right, now let's go back to the character, because I had to look that up about the trans. But she fought for humanity too. It just wasn't for that, So I guess that was just a part of it in the comic book. So we're gonna get into a little bit more, because I want to break down the character in this. Okay. All right. Let me see. First appearance. Let me see. Flash #1 was September 2002. I guess was the first appearance when it was found, because I think this is old. All right, we're gonna go past that. Let me see. Again, associate group, the Elephant Men. I guess that was the name of the group that was a part of writing this character into the comic book. All right. Her functions. All right. So I like that name too. Kind of sound African. Sahara Serengeti. All right. Her role as a superhero, as a black superhero, she functions as a high-profile human liaison and activist with deep compassion for humanity. And I guess that half human, half robot stuff. It says modified transgenic elephant men soldiers. But that's just an example of, remember, we are the AI. We can be more powerful. We don't need to add things to our body that's not natural. So again, this is just the inspiration of how powerful Tim, the human spirit in a sister is. I've witnessed it. All right. Yeah, but let me see. I'm gonna read a little more. Let me see. Sin in a Noor 23rd century Los Angeles. Her narrative involves high stakes political influence, her relationship with the iconic hybrid. Let me see. Abdia. Ab. Apnea. I ain't gonna even try to say that word. Hippo hybrid. I guess these are things she was doing in this comic book. Obadiah. I've never said that word. Abadnia, horn, and navigating severe social prejudice. So in any event, she was fighting against evil, wicked, anything that was against righteousness is what she was fighting against, of course. And yep. So yeah, a divine fire within. Yep. And I just wanted to hope those can forgive me for fumbling and messing that up. I don't care. I told you sometimes I might fumble, but yeah. But in any event, she was a hero, and there was a lot of black superheroes. There were brothers too, that were heroes way before the heroes. The Supermans and the Batmans. A lot of it stemmed from melanated heroes. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just facts. You keep searching back in history, and you keep researching. The deeper you go, the more we'll find out. Just about any and everything that was invented, built, made, and visualized in this world came from a melanated brother and sister. That brother dropped that divine seed into that sister, and the rest was history. So those should try to learn from melanated scientists and inventors, and just know what it is. You can't fight it. Can't fight the truth. Real talk. So, and the truth stands alone. Don't need no one. Ponder that. Yep. So I just wanted to get into that. And again, forgive me for the fumbles and all that, but this is just an example of Ironheart sisters, and I appreciate you. Again, this is any sister, whether in our families, those we met in our personal lives, out and about. Those sisters with a kind heart and not stuck on themselves, and know that not every brother is trying to hit on them. So because I've run into some very unique sisters, here in the Milltown actually. And I have to say, it's a lot of beautiful sisters in Milltown, but gotta have that mind right. That mind gotta be right within that soul, and that's anybody. And that just make that beauty on the outside radiate even more. But again, I've met so many sisters that society wouldn't think is quotation marks is beautiful or whatever the hell, and had the most beautiful spirit ever. And those the kind of sisters you really vibe with. I'm telling you, it's beautiful and it's rare. So again, salute to Ironheart sisters. And I got some spell breaker statements. And again, salute to the sisters in my family. Again, cousins, aunties, my mom, my grandma, friends of the families, and those who are no longer with us. May they rest in peace and in power. Like L'Oreal Lyrical, who was a very vital tool to my life. Man, she was very inspiring, encouraging. She saw more in myself. She saw more in me than I seen in my own self. That's how L'Oreal Lyrical was. She pushed you to be better, because that's the kind of fire, that's the kind of divine fire she had within. Me and Lord Lamont, we talk about this all the time. She was always encouraging to Aaron, aka Lord Lamont. And again, salute to the righteous, sisters out there. Again, this the Ironheart, wherever you are in a part of the globe, whether you in a continent, city, state, and you just doing what you got to do, and your true powerful worth within. I salute you, and this is a celebration for you. I see you and I acknowledge you, because I run across nice, just good sisters. I love that when I run across that. And sisters, you open up the door for them, or you see them, going to the, store or gas station. And thank you. And, I love a sister that's not stuck on herself, and just know that not all, we got some good brothers out here, and salute to the brothers who know themselves too, even though this is a tribute, and a salute to my Ironheart sisters. Salute to my Ironheart brothers. I'm gonna have to do another, that's gonna be a part 2. So we'll say this is part 1. Because I might have to do a part 2. Ironheart brothers. Because I met some Ironheart brothers too. In the world, online, and of course, in my family. Real talk. So salute to the brothers. To the Ironheart brothers that know themselves. And know that you got to know some of my sisters, I hate when they think, but I understand though. But not every brother trying to hit on you when they compliment you. We do actually have genuine, real brothers out here. But again, if a sister knows her worth, they'll be able to feel if a brother's real or not. Again, that example I got. Say it again. I know I said it maybe twice already. I got to get that on a t-shirt. I just love the way that sound. When we get to a space, when we finally do, emphasis, finally do have that divine fire within, we will begin to see the whole terrain. And that's beautiful within ourselves and, in person, place, thing, the social media, the media, celebrity gossip. We'll know where the distractions coming from. We can make life, like I said about my grandma. She literally created a peaceful world, and she was always sitting outside. I was always in her garden. Man, it's beautiful, to be in a space like that. When you have this sense of not caring, not about the world, not about things that's important, our family, and, making sure we stay away from that punk ass devil, not things like that. Just not caring and just living and loving, not naive and aware and firm, iron heart, So again, it's a tribute and a salute to our iron heart sisters, and a salute to Sahara Serengeti on the banner here. I just thought it looked dope, the stance she was standing in. And again, that's what inspired me when I saw that sister doing martial arts. And again, that's my advice to sisters. That's another way to get to know your spirit. And it's good to work out and all that, but some of these sisters, when I got on Facebook, I was like, are they working out, or like, what is this? They showing off their body, or are they working? Are they really? I mean, it's good to work on your body, but I don't know, man. To each his own. Some of these videos, I don't know, bro. But salute to the positive sisters that I did connect with on social media. Like the sister I always bring up, Nefertiti Aset Ra. You don't never see her posting no dumb shit. She always speaking truth, and she bold with it too. So again, that's the same sister that inspired me to go deeper into Pharaoh and Nefertiti history, and I learned a lot because I never really knew a lot or thought about, because you hear the stories about Pharaoh and Nefertiti, but when you really learn for yourself and go deeper, it's like, wow, so because she be on it, and she's bold. She speak that truth, real talk. She don't bite her tongue, and I love it. It'll almost scare you, the things she posts. Like, whoa, but I love it. Again, she's another sister that got iron heart, and I love sisters like that. Again, whether you got a platform or not, just a normal sister, upright human being, or just a female in general that got that strong divine shield, and know her true worth, because that's what it's about. Because again, many nationalities, they got to stop being intimidated, can learn a lot from our sisters. Because again, statistically, sisters are the most highly educated. And again, that's facts. That's not opinion or theory. All right. So let's get to these spell breaker statements, because I got a lot of intelligent sisters in my family. L'Oreal Lyrical, duh. And it's just not her. It's many in my family. Like I said, I got nurses in my family. My grandma, she had that nurse-like nurturing spirit, and she passed it on to my aunties and a couple of my cousins, and just like I said, got nurses in my family, got singers, maybe some rappers. All of us got cooks. A lot of us can cook. My Uncle Charlie can cook. My Uncle Larry, he got his own business, and I'm telling you, be thankful if we come from a family of go-getters, especially the sisters. Again, this is a tribute to Ironheart sisters. All right, let's get to these spell breaker statements, and I'm gonna salute your divine war zone to your divine life. And that's brother, sister, family, current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view. All right, let's go. Spell breaker statement number 1, and this is for anybody, but mostly for our sisters. All right, Ironheart sisters, that is, that know their divine fire deep within. All right, know the essence of our power or your power, because I say this is for anybody but our sisters. Know the essence of your power, my sisters. In other words, study our African sisters, how they were. Remember, sisters who were powerful before social media. It all comes from us anyway. This technology and all this shit, it stems from us. Because again, if you go back in the Pharaoh times and the Nefertiti times, amongst the toxic ones, because I always got to reiterate, there were maybe evil pharaohs or maybe evil Nefertitis. It just depends how deep one wants to go. So that's a reality, because they're always going to be evil and good, or the other way around, or yin and yang, or there will always be that. All right. But you learn a lot of things that they did then that we do now in the technical age. I was fumbling in in the AI age. They did then. And again, we go back and study the hieroglyphics. They predicted a lot of things in those hieroglyphics that we literally are doing right now today. So that's the essence of a sister. Things divine they had, or they just the power they had even then. So get back to the essence of your power, my sisters. And again, other nationalities can learn a lot. I'm talking about a true sister who know herself, whether you're educated or not. I'm talking about just a spiritually grounded, righteous sister that's a man that's bold with it. That can be feminine but bold. That's a beautiful balance. All right. Spellbreaker statement number 2. Salute to all sisters, my family, that have integrity and a divine and a divine spirit. Is so needed. So a salute to that, the sisters who are clinging to that divine spirit and know their power deep within, because it's beautiful. So salute to all that, again, to those in my family. All right. Spellbreaker statement number 1, and acknowledge sisters who are out here that we don't hear about. Like I said about Pretty Brown, that's really given to humanity and our culture in their own way. It's just not global and nothing nobody, because again, Pretty Brown has literally raised generations, because not only has she raised her own kids, she's also raised other kids that weren't even, well, maybe they weren't hers, but some were maybe relatives, some maybe not. And she literally raised them from babies. And so and her kids, that's one generation, and other kids that she raised, that helped raise, were another generation. So, and they all are smart, they all can read, very intuitive. And this is the boys and the girls, or the males and the females. So, because Pretty Brown is really smart. She really is. She knows a lot. I mean, she loves watching Jeopardy and things that challenge her, and she's usually watching something educated on TV. She has her other shows she like to watch, but she has books on, she wanted to be a nurse, I think. No, she said she wanted to be a doctor. She got books on being a medical physician and things of that nature. She got books on it. She's read up on it. Knows a lot about that stuff too. And she did go to school for a time, but life kind of got in the way. And actually, someone she was speaking on, someone kind of held her back, and she wasn't able to pursue it. But I still think it worked in her favor. That's why all her children are doing so well amongst the ones who may be having a challenge, because a couple of them have had challenges along the way, but for the most part, they're doing well and they're flourishing. She did a really great job, and I'm so proud of her. And it's many sisters like her that has raised I got a cousin in my family. She raised multiple kids, but she had somebody with her though. God bless her with a brother that stood beside her and helped her, kind of like I did in Pretty Brown's life. And again, I got a cousin in my family. And they're all doing good, flourishing. So I salute sisters like that we don't hear about and don't see, because sometimes this life or have us where we only pay attention to those who are known or got platforms. No, we look right in our families. We got some sisters that's heroes right in our family. Some of us, again, whether it's mothers, cousins, aunties, or a sister or a friend of the family. So just got to look close. All right. So I'm so thankful for that and grateful for that. All right. So let's move on to Spellbreaker statement number 3. Salute and thank you to sisters, and also salute to other cousins, even cousins in my family that haven't raised multiple kids, but have raised great kids. I want to leave them out. But I just think it's powerful, man, and beautiful, because it's not easy. Think of a mother raising 8 kids. That's not easy, man. Especially if they're by themselves and they all grow up successful. And my Aunt Ruby, let me see, my cousins, I got cousins. I got two. She had 4 kids, so I got 2 sister cousins. Then 2 brothers that are cousins that my aunt Ruby raised, and they are doing well and flourish. My mom, she had her challenges with me, my brother, and my sister, but we're all doing well for the most part. So again, these are sisters we don't hear about, and it's stories that we need to acknowledge and talk about, because there are sisters out there that don't care about being seen and really giving to humanity and have moved humanity in a way, just not being seen and don't have it's not highlighted. So again, like my cousin that raised multiple kids and other sisters in my family that raised great kids, I'm thankful for that. So, and again, these are sisters we don't hear about, and this is a perspective for all sisters. I'm just speaking on the sisters in my family as an example. All right. So, spell breaker statement number 3: salute and thank you to sisters who taught me to understand and overstand and understand the best way one can, positive or negative, because I've learned from negative situations. I'm talking about like romantic relationships I've had with sisters, and I've learned from the negative and the positive, because sometimes it wasn't a sister, sometimes it was me, so that's beautiful too, when we can know when we may not have done something right, when we may have been wrong. That's beautiful too, and it's beautiful balance. Then I've had positive interactions with sisters or females, that taught me. So that's beautiful too. And because the way we can somewhat solve problems and anticipate things, we've got to know our own divine spirit within, that fire. We have to. So that's what manifests a lot of Ironheart sisters out there, because they know that divine fire within. And Shanika, her name's Shanika, Pretty Brown. She knew that fire, and her kids is her motivation. She would go to bat for them kids. She would fight Goliath for them kids, on real talk, when it comes to them kids. So that's her motivation for fighting in this life and staying tapped in to her divine fire within. And I thank that great divine for blessing me with the gift of a little understanding and listening and learning, which we never stop learning. But be thankful if we can get in this space and kind of pause in certain situations and just learn and just see into our core and kind of slow things down symbolically before one makes a decision, positive or negative, especially if we kind of know if it's something of importance. Anytime we got something that's that we think that may affect our life in whether it's negative or positive in a big way, we always meditate on it, so we can see the whole terrain, as I said 4 or 5 times. I just like how that sounds, but it's beautiful, and a lot of us can, and I'm telling you. And that's for sister or brother. But of course, this is a tribute to our sisters, our Ironheart sisters. And again, salute to the character in this comic book that, again, is just kind of an inspiration. I like the way she looked with the afro, and again, I like artwork. I love animation. I still watch cartoons, I really do. And it's, again, I'll always have that childlike energy in me, but we have to mature in this life, as me and Lord Lamont discussed in the last Father and Son discussion. Embrace our uniqueness. We had a little freestyle at the beginning, and I'm telling you, our discussions be fun. Enjoy our hobbies. Everything don't always have to be intense and serious either. Learn to have fun, and don't forget joy, folks, because Great Divine has a sense of humor too. That's another thing we do. And I have to remind myself sometimes, we got to stop putting Great Divine or that great creator, stop making it this intense, serious thing. Like it's never, what do you think? When me and Great, I did put that in another podcast in screen, but Great Divine also has a sense of humor, folks. Where do you think we get it? Great Divine is funny. Just think of the funny things that's happened in our life that made us laugh and crack up, So that's when that childlike energy comes into play. Because children, that's something I like about Ethan. He can get into a space and play and enjoy himself. He don't be, when he feeling bored or whatever, he finds something to do. He'll play with his toys he got, or he'll go outside. He loves to go outside and just dribble the basketball. Sometimes I'll go out there and play with him, and we'll play this game called Cans, where we bounce the ball on the can, each other can, on the can, on it's like on the sidewalk, can on each side, and I throw the ball. He has a can on his side, I got a can on my side, and people probably heard of this game, and I throw the ball on his side, and each time we touch the can, it's like 10 points or something like that. So he loves playing outside, ride his bike, his hoverboard, and then his brother Dion, they be out there playing. So, and he plays with his friends, and I'm telling you, very active little boy. He does all kind of stuff. So he's not just locked in no room or no video game. So that's something I teach him, but I have to give the credit to his mom because she be on him about that social media crap. And he does have a phone, but he's very seldom on it. And we have to have our children like that, where they're used to not being on social media, because and then we regulate roadblocks, wherever the hell that is. And I don't know what it is with that roadblocks, if I'm saying it right. Kids love that game. And they said that who would say AI robots or something were on there trying to connect with kids that were saying things that were inappropriate. So that's why we need to regulate the times our kids are on these social media outlets, because all the freaks and the predators, all the crazy people they used to hide, they all on social media now. As I was saying a little while ago, that's why I don't do outlets. That's why I don't go on there anymore. Instagram is so fucking creepy. It's weird. It's like he getting all these weird ass people trying to follow me, and Twitter was like that too. It's X now, but it's cool now. I filtered through all the weird ass people that were trying to follow me, and it was mostly Caucasian girls that were with that porn link shit, and they kept trying to follow me, and I kept blocking them, and they just kept trying to fucking follow me. And then so I went on there and I tweeted, "Stop fucking following me. Leave me the fuck alone. Stay the fuck away from me." I literally typed that, and I had to do it a couple times, and eventually they stopped following me. So I don't know what the fuck that shit is, and I don't even be on there. That's the ridiculous part. It's like I ain't even on there. Like, what the fuck are these people doing? What are people doing? And you have to really ponder people minds who do this, who just on social media just sneaking and looking, and that shit is ridiculous. That's crazy as hell. I would never do no shit like that. Like I say, sometimes, like if I go on an outlet or a platform or something, I might investigate to kind of see a person's character. Like I said, some of these sisters who are on a low vibration, and it's just 25, it's like 1,000 fucking pictures of themselves. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. So yeah, we gotta get away from that. So that's why I gravitate towards sisters with an iron heart. So again, salute to the sisters that's tapped into their divine fire deep within. I'm proud of you, and I thank you, as well as Pretty Brown. I'm proud of her and other sisters like her. Like I said, the cousin in my family that raised multiple kids, and strong sister, man. And I got a lot of strong sisters in my family. And the sister that raised multiple kids, that's L'Oreal Lyrical's sister. And they got that from their mom, Kim. Kim was strong, so she did good with them. She did well, so I'm thankful that Great Divine put that in one's family. And again, salute to all the families out there that are strong and foundational, and ain't giving that devil no freaking room. So I'm very grateful and thankful for that. So, all right, again, thank those for coming in to another edition of EBX Discussion. And again, salute to the sisters with that iron heart, and salute to the sister on the banner here. That's a black superhero character, because we see all kind of images of sisters. And again, I want to give that advice one more time. I think it'd be good for sisters, and it's probably a lot that are, take up martial arts or anything of that nature, even boxing. But I say martial arts because, again, martial arts are a little different than boxing. I mean, I know boxing teaches you discipline, but in my opinion, I think martial arts is a little different, because martial arts hits a little deeper. And martial arts, you have to go through different stages, and it takes a certain kind of spirit, and it takes years to really master martial arts. So that's what I'm saying. The process will make you learn your body, your soul, your chakras, like Bruce Lee and many others like Bruce Lee, not just Bruce Lee. And if I'm not mistaken, I heard this from Michael J. White. He said the first martial artist was black. Prior to that, I was like, is it anything that didn't come from melanated people first? Real talk. That's a fact. I didn't mean to rhyme, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And these podcasts, I'm like, I don't know why I'm always rhyming. Again, it's in my subconscious because I do it a lot. I love hip hop. I love music overall, but as I always say, hip hop is one's first love. And salute to the iron-hearted sisters who do music, especially hip hop. Salute to my righteous activists who do hip hop and really care about your craft, because I appreciate that too. So, and salute to all the sisters who are heroes in comic books. And so again, this sister on the banner, Sahara Serengeti. She's our Ironheart Sisters inspiration today. And again, I love animation and I love hard work. So, and I just thought it looked cool on the banner and or thumbnail. So thank those for coming in. And sisters who are going through a challenge, if you're able to, get back to the essence of your power. Study your African sisters back in the day. I'm talking about decades ago. Tap into that fire that they had, And I know we be on social media and all that, but I always say it's not the vehicle, it's the person driving the vehicle, It's what's underneath the hood, in the core of that soul will manifest, divinely in the physical. Real talk. So again, this is a salute and a tribute. An example also from Sahara Serengeti. So we got a lot of Sahara Serengetis out there in our personal lives, in the world. And we do got righteous sisters that may have a platform. But as we know, if we're in the righteous circles, we'll know who the righteous ones are, and we'll know who the allies are, especially our bold, tough sisters out here that ain't taking no shit from this punk ass devil and don't need social media to give them validation. That's beautiful right there when a sister can do that. Yep. And sisters, keep that, I love Ironheart Sisters. Stay with it and never give up, like L'Oreal Lyrical, sisters all across the globe who are aware of themselves, and want to do right. It might just be, caught off guard by circumstances, but want to do right in this life. Stay with it, and tap into, all of us, but especially sisters, because it's for my sisters. Man, never stop seeking, learning, becoming greater. Go deep into your core and lock on, to your divine fire deep within. Salute.
It's your girl L'Oreal. Attention, attention. It's your girl L'Oreal. Last man up. Shari, J. Mitch, Toby, Travis, Burlock, 2-6, what up? Eastside, what up? Bringing you flow, so lyrical music, Milwaukee music, all day, every day. Turn it up.
Bring it back, 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 bring it back.
Yeah, it's your girl
L'Oreal.
Black Lab exclusive, I do this. Fluid in the music, I prove it. Through every time you hear me on the beat, you drug it on the beat and prop it for me like I'm
P.I.M.P.
No homo, bro, gotta get my dough. Done it to me on my phone, Lolo. We gotta show I'm on the dope with no ground. Cause I'm out here on my grind. In VIP, making money. At the same damn time,
let's go.
Kick L'Oreal. That's why I'm always on the track, I'm on natural. Nubian queen with the dream and I forget the party pop.
Haters can't stake it, they too busy body dropping.
Hey, I did it again. The flow is magnetic, pulling you in. I'm on team, yes, the cocky kind of chunky, not a Barbie. Then I stay up on the track like Jay and lay up on the back. Hey, yeah. I made the beat go Nubian queen with the dream and I'ma get the party poppin'. Cause haters stay too busy body dropping. I did it.